Start? Karachi is the city of lights.
So I guess one good thing about Karachi is that it's very much alive. You find all sorts of people here. You can find a lot of kindness in Karachi as well, so that's another good thing about Karachi. One bad thing about Karachi is that it's very fast. Like you have to match the pace. When you're working here, when you're living here, it's not the easiest place to live. If you cannot match the pace, then obviously you're out.
Pakistan is a country with many interesting cities and lives. This is one of the most populous countries not only in South Asia but also in the world. They have over 240 million inhabitants, making them the fifth most populous country in the world. The fact that they are a populous country makes each and every city there interesting. For example, the city of Lahore in the east of the country was the second most populous city in Pakistan, and in this sense, it is described by many sources as the dustiest city in the world. Unlike many countries, their capital, Islamabad, is not the most populous city in this country. For this reason, there is one other very important place in Pakistan besides Lahore, and that is Karachi in the southernmost part of the country. The estimated population in Lahore is around 12 million, while the current population in Karachi is estimated to be around 20 million. This is why we chose Karachi, the coastal city in the south of the country, rather than the capital Islamabad, to understand normal life in Pakistan. By observing both the day life and the night life of Karachi, we try to get an idea about the general life in Pakistan. So the life in Pakistan, which we will evaluate through Karachi, begins. Here a new day dawns in Karachi, the sound of the water in the sea, the birds flying on the shore, and the sun peeking through the clouds is really peaceful. People are out for beach walks at 6 in the morning and things seem calm for now. It is undoubtedly the largest and most important port city in Pakistan. Imports from abroad are usually smuggled into the country through the ports in Karachi. Similarly, the fact that the country has a coastline allows fresh fish to reach every part of Pakistan. Pakistan is also a place where various ethnicities and religious beliefs coexist, just like India. For example, there are different ethnic groups in the country, such as Punjab, Sindhis, Pashtuns, Balashis, and these ethnic groups have their own local languages. The most important official language of the country is Urdu, but each letter in the name Pakistan has connotations such as holy, pure, and clean. It is said that the country's alphabet is inspired by the Persian alphabet, but its origin is based on the Arabic alphabet. The Urdu alphabet, which is a mixture of these two languages, consists of 38 letters. Pakistan, just like other South Asian countries, is a hot, humid and rainy place. Therefore, people who do not have a day job do not prefer to wander the streets of the city. Of course, there are some people who do not want to stay at home. These people try to cool off in shady areas, parks, and some even sleep. Statistics show that the hottest regions in Pakistan are undoubtedly the southern parts of the country, and Karachi is the hottest place in the country. The temperatures here hover around 12 degrees Celsius even in the coldest times of the year, while in the summer it can easily reach 40 degrees Celsius. For this reason, Pakistanis do not walk around in cities like Karachi during the daytime in very hot temperatures. In fact, Karachi is called the City of Lights in English. This means that since the city is as hot as it gets during the day, people usually start going out in the evening and stay out all night long. This naturally implies that the city is alive at night and that the city never sleeps. That's why in Karachi, the lights don't go out at night. On the contrary, the city becomes even more lively. In addition, the high temperature and humidity in South Asian countries has enabled people to adapt to that geography, and they have genetically different skin tones from Western countries. Of course, I am not saying this is racism. I just want to point out that people in this geography have darker skin due to the hot climate balance. Just as people have white skin in the coldest countries of the world, people in the hottest regions also have darker, parched skin. In fact, dark-skinned people have thicker skin than white-skinned people in Northern Europe, so that they are less damaged by the sun's rays. So, while a European skin may burn in Pakistan in a short time, you will find that the skin of the local people there will not be so adversely affected by the heat. The few people who want to spend the day somewhere else visit zoos like this one in Karachi. In the country, boys and male adults do not wear Western clothes, but rather the traditional clothes of the region. These clothes are usually teamed with tops and bottoms and come in the same colors. These clothes, which are similar to the Arab abayas, are also preferred by men in India and Afghanistan. Under these clothes, people prefer comfortable slippers and sandals, not sneakers. Karachi also offers a more accepting environment in terms of social life compared to Lahore. Although the city is more densely populated, it has more green areas and parks. For example, in Lahore, according to statistics, the green area ratio of the city is around 3%, while in Karachi it is around 11%. I think it's because of the better environment that when you look at the faces of people in Karachi, they look healthier and more vigorous. People in Lahore had a more faint look. At least I can guarantee that Karachi will look much more fresh to you. As we continue to walk around Karachi during the daytime, we notice that just like in Lahore, motorcycles are widely used in this city. Also, the number of birds in the air is one of the details that did not escape our eyes. People find the use of motorcycles in this country really practical and fast. Also, Pakistani people seem to treat birds well, as they sometimes mingle with people and land on car pontoons. Remember, in our Lahore video, we said that there are more than 6 million motor vehicles on the road in Lahore, and 4 million of them are motorcycles. Statistics say that there are more than 25 million motorcyclists in this country of 240 million people. I think this is a bit optimistic, and there are at least 30 million motorcyclists in Pakistan. On the other hand, more than 250,000 new motorcycles are added to the traffic in Karachi every year. Imagine that in Karachi alone, more than 3.5 million motorcyclists ride in traffic every day. Considering that more than 20 million people live in Karachi in a small area of about 4,000 square kilometers, it is no coincidence that the housing there is mostly high-rise apartments. In many parts of Karachi, when we look up, we can see apartments of at least 15 to 20 stories high. These apartments look very modern and durable. Of course, not everyone in the city is lucky enough to live in such modern apartments in a densely populated area. You cannot expect all people to have a high standard of living. That's why in Pakistan, you can see children lying on the streets in many shanty towns. The city is literally home to Pakistan's most strategic and largest slums. Here is the biggest slum in Pakistan. It is called Orangi and is located in the northern interior of Karachi. It is considered to be the largest slum in the world, with an estimated 2.5 million people living in this slum, according to uncertain figures. For example, these people are residents of Orangi and they agreed to host us in their neighborhood. Probably, we would not have been able to film these people comfortably without our Pakistani cameraman friend with us and guiding us. As in many slums around the world, in Karachi, as in many other slums around the world, families with many children in these neighborhoods attract our attention. This issue needs to be analyzed in detail, but poor families have at least 4 or 5 children all over the world. I think they think that maybe one of them will be rich and take care of them. Or they may think that the more children they have, the more workers they will bring into the family. As you can see, there are a lot of children around. Luckily, in the slums naturally look a bit neglected. You can see this by looking at the children's faces or their hair. The children are surprised and interested to see the camera. Many of them are aware that they have a bad family economy, but they still have smiles and playful gestures on their faces. If you look at the areas where people in the slums live, they usually sit on the ground and have not been able to create a home environment. The areas where they live and sleep are directly connected to the outside, and they are extremely vulnerable to disasters such as floods and dust storms. People have created a hut environment by attaching various boards to each other and covering them with tarps and different kinds of fabrics that can protect them from dust and rain. When I inspected the huts, I didn't see any metal guards or brick structures around them, so a strong wind from the sea could blow all these open huts away and destroy them in one fell swoop. Although children are not sufficiently aware of the difficulties of their lives, when we point the camera at the faces of adults, the despair, stress, and anxiety about the future are clearly visible on the faces of many of them. For example, this man has 7 children and he tries to earn money by sewing fabric on a sewing machine. He says that he earns money by sewing clothes for the families in the neighborhood who do not have sewing machines with the fabrics they find around. So much so that this man's monthly income from this job is only 30,000 rupees, which is $110. The children are sent to the busiest streets of Karachi in the evening when it is cooler and begged. The more children each family in the slum has, the more options they have for begging or child labor, and the more money the family gets. There is also a prayer area here. People are praying here. As you know, Pakistan is a Muslim country with more than 90% of its total population. After Indonesia, this is the country with the largest Muslim population in the world. Out of a population of over 240 million, roughly 210 million are Muslims and belong to various sects of Islam. Despite this poverty, the importance people attach to their religion and worship is truly admirable. For example, look, people in Orangi have created a common socializing space for themselves. In every family's shack in the neighborhood, you will never find a television and an electricity line. So people have attached an old TV to a suitable area with tapes and tires, and they watch Pakistani movies there, or they get information about their country or the world from Pakistani news channels. In the areas where they watch television, there are often children, but there can also be goats. For example, in Pakistan, you can see people watching field hockey on TV. Because these people are the most interested people in the world in field hockey. They have adopted field hockey as their national sport, and they watch its matches on television. In fact, they often win gold medals in the Olympics. The good thing is that the vast majority of people do not seem to be depressed, even though they live in a slum that has fallen behind the modern world. It's as if some of them have accepted this life and aim to be happy with what they have. I mean, people don't cover their faces or act aggressively towards your camera because they are poor. They don't throw things at you or ask you to turn off your camera and leave. This actually shows how hospitable, moderate, and positive the people of Pakistan are despite their difficult living conditions. Because no matter what conditions they live in, people are happy to see a foreigner coming to their neighborhood, and they did not treat us badly. Most importantly, people have managed to remain a family even in these conditions. There are also such decorated minibuses at the exit points of the slum. And if you go to Pakistan, you will definitely see one of these decorated minibuses. Pakistanis really like to decorate their public transportation vehicles. They light or paint them in various ways. Some decorate their minibuses with national and religious motifs, while others decorate them with landscapes and flowers. In the last 20 years, the art of decorating minibuses in Pakistan has become known and famous around the world. Let's take a ride in one of these decorated vans and focus a little bit on how people with normal incomes live in Karachi. For example, we're at the edge of a shopping center. This couple is talking about something, and they represent the profile of a modern person in Pakistan. The fact that the girl's hair is visible proves that although Pakistan is a Muslim country, there is no religious oppression. They are not like Afghanistan, for example, which is right next door, and women live a much freer life in Pakistan. For example, in terms of the social situation in the country, we can say that Pakistan is a place where sodomy among men and transgender people are common. There you can see men walking hand in hand. Indoor shopping malls in the country are designed in the same way as in the rest of the world. There is a space in the middle, elevators and stairs, while at the corners there are stores of famous brands. There is not much interesting here. It is always the streets that make South Asian countries interesting, my friends. For example, you cannot find this spicy street food wrapped in a leaf and believed to be good for health in any country in the West. They put various spices and sweet syrups on a leaf, and you put it in your mouth and chew it. Some of the locals say that this is good for stomach, health, and sexual desire.
हो गया खाने की भी है
हाँ जी
People are doing various jobs in this city. Many people do not work for a particular company but do their own work. Some of them either open a shop and sell things, while others travel from street to street with bicycles or carts to sell their handicrafts.
ice cream
For example, these merchants have managed to open their own shops in the crowded bazaars of the city. This is a covered bazaar, and you will see mainly textile and souvenir shops. This kind of similar covered bazaar products are reminiscent of the bazaars in the Middle East. There are many similar bazaars in Iran, Iraq, and even in Turkey. Of course, some of these products are imitations made from poor quality materials, like these glasses, for example. I'm sure that wearing these glasses will do more harm than good to your eyes. Unfortunately, there are no walking points for the visually impaired in the bazaar. Therefore, such visually impaired elderly people can only take very small steps in the middle of the street. Asian countries are often criticized for their lack of human rights and human priorities. Another sad situation on the streets of Karachi is that there are many homeless people, and you will often come across them. They sleep on the floor. They look unhappy and despairing of life. This old woman is trying to earn money by selling handkerchiefs, and some people on the streets are playing the flute and making the snakes dance. Various research institutions suggest that the average monthly income in Pakistan by 2024 will range between 80,000 rupees and 100,000 rupees. The global equivalent of these incomes is between $300 and $350. This is why for Westerners, Pakistan is one of the cheapest countries to live in and invest in. An American or European person can live a quality life above the standards even in the most expensive city in Pakistan with $2,000 a month. For example, this woman smiling for our camera was a teacher, and she says she earns 120,000 rupees a month working in a private educational institution. In other words, this adult individual who became a teacher after studying at university earns only $450 per month. Of course, these amounts may seem low to you because life in the West is expensive. But in South Asia, the amounts that people need to live on are much lower and people earn much less. Pakistan is not very popular among South Asian countries, but there are thousands of people who retire in the US and invest their money in countries like Thailand. For example, a person who can barely make ends meet in their own country with their pension can live a much superior life in countries like Pakistan and Thailand. This Pakistani woman is a nurse and earns 90,000 rupees a month. Of course, these amounts vary according to the provinces of Pakistan. For example, Karachi is part of Pakistan's Sindhi province and is its capital. The country has provinces such as Balochistan and Punjab and is governed by a total of 8 provinces. House rents and monthly incomes vary in each province. But we can safely say that 8 out of 10 Pakistanis never have a net annual income of more than $10,000. The general public transportation in Karachi consists of modern red buses like these. Unlike in Lahore, there is much less tuk-tuk transportation in this city, and a more modern public transportation service is provided. Instead of taking a taxi while you are there, you can easily get around the city for an average of 20 rupees. The inside of these public transportation buses look like this, and I can say that they are very modern and clean. In the city, handsome boys like this one are trying to make a living through the art of mime. At first glance, you wonder what this guy is doing, but after a few seconds, you realize what he is trying to do and why he is standing still. I think it's a nice and sincere idea to generate income, but he should have preferred the bazaar areas where pedestrians are more abundant instead of a street where cars pass by. Another one thinks he can make money off the monkey. What this man did is not something to be respected. He dresses up the monkey and puts a chain around its neck, literally torturing it. At this point, you realize that you have some differences in mentality with the people of Pakistan. For example, in your own country, it is probably impossible for this man to make money with this method, but in Pakistan he does, so he resorts to this method. In Pakistan's largest city, the beach starts to get lively in the evening. Since the beach is long and it is difficult for people to walk in the heat, they have started a tour service with camels and horses. If you wish, you can ride these camels along the coast and have a completely different experience at the 0 point of the sea, or you can rent chairs on the beach with your feet touching the water and watch the sunset. While touring the beaches of Karachi with camels is like this, touring with horses is like this. You are accompanied by the horse's trainer, and you don't have to manage the horse. The trainer, who owns the horse, directs the horse himself and sets the horse's speed. If you don't want to do any of that, you can put your feet in the water like these women and then go into the sea. Some people collect shells from the shore with nets and sell them to tourists as souvenir. Birds fill the beach with human food waste and feed. This man is trying to pull the net he casts into the water with his waste. What this man is doing is much more extensive, and these people are doing it together. Dozens of people are pulling the nets they have left in the depths of Karachi's coast towards the shore, hoping to catch fish. Each of the merchants on the beach decorates their goods or animals so beautifully that they compete with each other and try to make money by enticing customers. They usually decorate the animals in red colors. This man seems to be suffering from love pangs and is tripping like he is in a music video. I have told you about many different types of people in a small area on the same beach, and I'm sure you have noticed this too. It must be because of the density of the population. People can use the same place for completely different purposes and no one interferes. Since there are no rules or restrictions on the beach, everyone can hang out as they please. Some are doing arbitrary things, others are trying to earn money and take care of their families. Pakistan and Karachi are of course not limited to this. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is the city of lights, a place where life is mainly lived at night, because the weather is relatively cooler and more walkable in the evening. Here is one of the first people to catch our camera in the night landscape. This old man has put food in heavy cauldrons on his shoulders and is selling it to people. This is one of the upscale areas of Karachi, and you can see luxury vehicles all around. For example, this is exactly what a decent and luxurious restaurant in Pakistan looks like. People are eating in a calm and civilized way. And this is the elite class of Pakistan. In fact, if you look at the faces and the clothes of the people eating, you can see that they are in no way related to more than half of the country. In fact, this raises another research issue. There is probably a huge income inequality in this country too, where less than 5% of the population should have more wealth and income than the other 95%. This is usually not surprising. You can find such income inequalities in almost all Middle Eastern and Asian countries. Don't get angry with me, my Pakistani friends, but it is a fact. When you leave the restaurant and breathe in the atmosphere outside, you realize that the city is really full of lights. Even in the late hours, the city looks lit up and bright, as if it were daytime. There are people hanging out with their families in modest cafes, people driving in traffic, and even children sleeping on the ground. Some are selling at their stalls, while others are praying in the area when it is time to pray. Some are enjoying a shisha pipe on the balconies of their homes, while others are handing you flowers. Pakistani people do not stop day or night. There are very similar people selling something somewhere at all hours of the day. Some of them, like this policeman friend, keep the city safe and secure. There is constant movement everywhere, and people are always doing something. Although there is a lack of hygiene, especially in food stalls and stalls, people living in that geography do not find these hygiene conditions uncomfortable, and people are not obsessed with hygiene. The majority of tourists coming to the country are rich Arab tourists like these. Pakistanis quickly realize that they are tourists and constantly bring their products to their tables. Pakistan is also home to many interesting facts. For example, this country is actually the birthplace of one of the oldest civilizations in the world. This was the Indus Valley civilization that ruled around 3000 BC, and they traded all over the world from places like Karachi. To summarize Pakistan, both in the south, east and west, is a place with many stories, special situations, special people, and different ways of life. Even in 2024, this country still offers many details and special topics to explore. In this video, we tried to share our observations about Karachi, the most populous city in the country. See you in the next video, and goodbye.